I used to work for this college a few years back, and there was this guy who he was, I think, he was a recruiter, and we were really cool. We were good friends, and he actually liked me romantically, but he knew that I identified as a lesbian. And one time he was speaking to a couple of girls on the job. I was nowhere around. I think they were just talking on the job. And he was saying to the girls, man, I really think Giselle is so fine. I think she looks so good. And he said one of the girls said, I don't know why you like Giselle like that, because did you know that Giselle is gay? And he said, yes, I know she's gay. And then she said, well, how can you like her? She's gay. There's no way that you can get with her anyway. And he said, I don't give a damn if Giselle is gay. I still think she look good. I still like her. And the other girl had said, well, what about me? What you think of me? Don't you think I look good? And he said he just started laughing, and he said, I gotta go. So he came back and he told me about this scenario. He was like, Giselle, he said, it's a couple of these girls on the job that was, having an issue with me complimenting you. And I told him, I said, you know what? I don't even need to know what was discussed. And he was like, see, that's what I like about you, because you don't sit up and entertain any gossip. He said, but I do want to let you know that they tried to make me stop liking you because you are a lesbian. And I let them know that I don't care that you're a lesbian. You're my friend, and I still think you look good. And I said, okay. Well, thank you for telling me, but I'll be fine. So I kind of later on reflected on that conversation with my former coworker. He was a recruiter, and I have a few experiences that I can share with you about being in the workforce and being an open lesbian. I can give you guidance about being out on the job. However, if you do not feel safe or comfortable or ready to be openly gay or lesbian on the job, then that is completely up to your discretion. However, in my own personal situations, I've experienced a combination of not being out on the job, and in some jobs, I was out. So it was kind of like I experimented with it, because I've had various jobs in the past, and depending on the situation, the environment determined whether or not I decided to be discreet about my sexual orientation. And discreet does not mean that I'm closeted, or it does not mean that I'm living on the down low. It just means that I do not openly share with everyone about my sexual identity of being a lesbian for my own professional as well as personal reasons. But in some scenarios on certain jobs, I was openly lesbian. And the thing about being openly gay or lesbian in the work environment, in just any type of setting where people are, you really cannot control how people view you. But you definitely can protect yourself And you also have the own decision to determine if you want to be openly gay on the job or if you want to be discreet. Completely up to your choice. And this scenario that I learned from by a former coworker who was a man who actually liked me on the job. However, he knew that I was a lesbian. He decided to share with me how two other women who are heterosexual women responded to his statement of saying that he was attracted to me and he liked me. And I thought to myself, women who identify as heterosexual, they can be very negative towards lesbian women when a man who they are attracted to is attracted to a lesbian. They actually take it personal, they don't like it, and they can be very competitive. And that is something that I've noticed with women. And because I identify as a lesbian woman, I'm not in competition with women at all. For one, I'm not in competition with heterosexual women because I'm a lesbian. So I'm not trying to compete to get a man. And I don't get jealous about other women who men find attractive, because some women, they get jealous that another man is paying another woman attention. And sometimes these heterosexual women are not necessarily even attracted to these men. They just don't like that the man is not paying them any attention. So they become annoyed that this man is not complimenting them or fawning over them. So that's one thing. But then it's a whole nother situation when the heterosexual woman really likes this man and she learns that he is attracted to another woman. Then jealousy kicks in and competition kicks in. But when she finds out the woman is a lesbian, then it's a whole nother dynamic, because she almost feels defeated, because lesbians have a appealing quality to most men. And men can be very fascinated with lesbian women, and heterosexual women pick up on that. And it's not much that they can do about it. So it really drives them crazy. And that causes a lot of toxic energy between women. And as a lesbian woman, because I'm a woman and I appreciate being a woman, and I am an advocate for women. And by the way, at the recording of this video, it's March of 2024, and March is Women's History Month. So I'm enjoying Women's History Month. And I really celebrate being a woman. I celebrate the lives of dynamic women. I love women empowerment. I love womanhood. I love to see women being the best women that they can be. And I love sisterhood. So why is that? Because I could have an excuse. I could have every reason in the world to be a negative, toxic person, because many women in my family who I was related to, they rejected me because I'm a lesbian. And I know firsthand what it's like to be around toxic women. And I could have let that rub off on me. However, I understand that all women are not the same. And I also understand that every woman has a past. She has a childhood. And whatever has happened in her past, in her childhood, leading up to where she is today, has all been a contributing factor to who she is now. And she either chose to be negative or she chose to be positive. And I realized I didn't want to fight against women for whatever the reason, because the outcome was never good. I've been around a lot of heterosexual women, and I see how they have to take on so much responsibility in life, responsibilities that they really should not be bearing. And a lot of it is caused by them not being willing to stand up to people, being a people pleaser, trying to fit in. A lot of heterosexual women, they take on the roles and the attitudes of the women in their life. And they believe that the only way for them to go higher in life is to put themselves first. And sometimes they're willing to put other people down in order to get to where they want to be. They don't have to throw anyone under the bus to get in the driver's seat. But because that's all they saw around them, and that's what they learned, they continue to be the same way that their grandmother was, that their mother was, that their aunt was, their sister was, their female friends are. And they continue to create this toxic circle. And I understand that we live in a patriarchal society. And patriarchal views have devastated the family. And they've also negatively impacted male and female gender roles and mindsets. Heterosexual women, many of them have believed that the male gender is better, is superior. And although they don't verbally say, oh, males are better than females, you can see it through their actions. You can see it through their behaviors. You can actually observe it through listening to them. by what they say and what they think. They don't literally say men are better than women, but what they'll do is they'll just pretty much put a man on a pedestal, and they will neglect their own self-care to make sure that they provide for a man, to keep a man around. And they will neglect their children. They will even turn against their own mother or sisters to please a man. And some women will even show favoritism between their male and female children, especially when the child's father is not around. A lot of women will spoil their male boys, their sons, but they will put a lot of responsibility on their female daughters, because they've been brainwashed to believe that women are supposed to be servants, and women are always supposed to have chores, and they're always supposed to carry the heavier load, and they need to make the lifestyle for men to be easier because they don't want to face the fury of a man's anger. So they'll do whatever they can to make sure they don't make their man upset or their sons upset. This is how a lot of heterosexual women operate, because we live in a patriarchal society. We live in a world where women have been deceived into thinking that they need a man. And that's why so many women are desperate to be in a relationship with a man. And they don't see the value in being a woman. So how can they see the value in other women? They don't. It's programming. And they say, well, women should be more kind to themselves. Women should be more kind to other women. Sure, yes, they should, but they're desensitized to the way they treat themselves and the way they treat other women because they are programmed. They don't take the time to learn a new way of living. And many of these males will perpetrate as well as instigate the drama between women. A lot of males do not like to see women get along. And I know this to be true. I've had situations where a man did not even know that I identified as a lesbian. And I may have been really cool, really good friends with his girlfriend or maybe even his wife. And the man became very fearful of his wife or his girlfriend having close female friends. And I learned a lot of that comes from the fact that a a lot of males do not like to see their women have positive, uplifting women in their lives. Because if they do, that will actually wake her up and make her realize that she deserves better. And she will be able to see a lot of the issues in her relationship with this male or this man. And never fails. Every single time I hear women talk about how their boyfriend or their husband caused a lot of issues between her and her best friend, or her and her mom, or her and her sister, and it never fails. It always turns out that the male, if he's a boyfriend or if he's a husband, he was always trying to sleep with his girlfriend or his wife's best friend or her sister or her mother. Yes, they want to sleep with women who are closest to their girlfriend or wives. But they know that they won't be able to do that if their girlfriend or wives have really good, healthy friendships or relationships with the women who they're related to or that they're friends with. And you cannot overlook this. You can't turn a blind eye to it, because women getting along is a very powerful connection. And men know that, because women actually influence men and women. But how we use our influence is what matters. So if you're being a negative influence, then you can expect a lot of toxic drama to occur between women. And men will instigate the drama because it allows him to not be responsible, and it allows him to continue to be unfaithful and cheat on his woman as often as he can, because he knows that his woman doesn't trust other women anyway, and she doesn't have good friendships with her mom, her sister, her aunts, her cousins who are female, and she doesn't get along with any women in general. So he has free reign to go out and cheat with whoever he wants to, because he knows his woman doesn't like these women anyway. But when lesbians are involved, it really changes up the atmosphere, because lesbians are not attracted to men. And we can see more clearly the intention of these males that a heterosexual woman cannot see. And we also, as lesbians, have a natural affection for women. And this does not mean that it is sexual. It's just because we are women who love women. We identify as lesbians or bisexual women, and we're attracted to women. So we don't have a lot of negative thoughts or negative energy when it comes to women. We're more accepting of women. We're more understanding, empathetic, and considerate of women, because we're lesbians or we're women who love women. And we don't get involved in all of the catty drama. But I will say this: there are lesbians who are very toxic. And they're toxic because they do come from a family who is not accepting of them being same-sex attracted women. And some of these women can be very masculine, and they take on the mindset of males, and they have a lot of toxic masculinity energy, and they act out as males and perpetrate a lot of the cheating and the infidelity and the even volatile behavior of males, putting their hands on a woman, for example. A lot of this behavior comes from what a lot of these lesbians have viewed growing up. They may have seen their dad or whoever their mother was dating at the time. They may have seen this male put his hands on her mother. And so you're a product of your environment, and you begin to emulate these behaviors and these thoughts into your own personal lives, and you bring it into a relationship with another woman. But you have to be very careful as a lesbian to not portray a lesbian relationship like a heterosexual relationship, because it's two different relationship types. Two women together operate completely different from a heterosexual relationship between a male and a female. But lesbians don't like negative women. We don't like negative women because more than likely we've seen and been around them all our lives, and we're trying to get away from them, honestly. I mean, one of the beautiful things about being a lesbian is that I can be myself. I can be a woman, and I also can be a woman who is attracted to women. I can give love to another woman. I can create my relationship to be a same gender loving relationship that I can't wait to come home to embrace my woman, to appreciate my woman, to grow with my woman. I've seen enough drama. I've heard enough negativity, and I've seen and been around enough jealousy and hatred, self-hatred, hatred of other women, which is called misogyny. And misogyny does not just happen from males. It also happens from females. And I don't condone it. I do not emulate it in my life. And since I am a lesbian, I am thankful to be a lesbian. And I will uphold being a lesbian. And I will appreciate being a lesbian. And I refuse to be around any women who think negatively about lesbians. And I refuse to be around any males who think negatively about lesbians. And I most definitely will not be friends or in a relationship with another woman who does not accept herself as a lesbian, or she actually takes on the negative energy of her mother or her sisters and brings it into our relationship in our house. I absolutely will not accept it, because I've had enough of it. I've seen enough of it. And I'm going to live the life that I deserve. Because lesbians don't like negative women. My name is Giselle Wallace, lesbian life coach and author. I am a certified lesbian life coach. I provide one-on-one life coaching. I also provide group coaching. If you are interested in having a session with me, please contact me. There are other forms of coaching I also provide, such as couples life coaching between same gender loving relationships. And I opened my own academy. It is called Giselle Wallace Lesbian Academy, where I provide lessons and course content for the LGBTQ plus community. Please enroll. in Giselle Wallace Lesbian Academy. I provide the website link on my YouTube channel. It's on the homepage. It's also in the description box under this YouTube video. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.